Kiara and I are here to provide the land acknowledgement for the class of 2020.
We would like to give a special shout out to all of the Native graduates throughout Portland Public Schools. Portland Public Schools is located within the city of Portland, Oregon and Multnomah County. As graduates of Portland Public's class of 2020, it's essential that we acknowledge that every school building, court, field, stadium, office, local field trip, and learning space we've utilized during the many years of our learning journey has taken place on Indigenous land. As such, we honor the tribal people whose way of life, traditions, culture, and in every sense, ways of being was taken from them. Acknowledgement is a simple, powerful way of showing respect for those whose land we are on and step toward correcting the stories and practices, language, and art that erase Indigenous people's history and culture, and toward inviting and honoring the truth and relationship with our Indigenous land, resources, and communities. Indigenous people have lived here since time immemorial for thousands of years in the past. The Portland metropolitan area covers both sides of the Columbia River and both sides of the Willamette River, spanning into surrounding counties. In this broad area, there were numerous tribes, peoples, and villages that honored the abundance that the lands offered. We honor their history and acknowledge the sacrifices they made.
In the Portland metropolitan area, the tribes are the Multnomah, which is a band of the Chinook, the Wasco, Cowlitz, Klamath, Clackamas, Tualatin, Kalapuya, Malawa, and many other tribes who made their homes along the Columbia and Willamette River. Let us also acknowledge the robust present-day federally recognized tribes of this area, the Grand Ronde, Siletz, and Cowlitz. It is within the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde and the Confederated Tribes of Siletz, Indians, that many of the families of the bands just listed now reside. In addition, we would like to acknowledge the Chinook Nation, which has been seeking federal recognition for many years. The urban Indian community is made up of tribal diversity that originates from around the country, representing at least 380 tribes, with more than 100 tribes represented among Portland Public Schools students and families. Native students show resilience in school from the age of 3 when they enter preschool or PPS Native Montessori through high school graduation. The urban Indian community has a vivid history and present-day presence made up of people whose journeys have brought them to Portland through which ways of forced displacement or seeking better opportunities. Today, these tribes and communities celebrate their heritage, showing resilience and tenacity, which would be greatly admired by their ancestors.
Hello, Alliance families and graduates of 2020. I recently read a quote that said, "You never know how strong you are until being strong is the only choice you have." That made me think of the students that attend Alliance at Benson, because strength is one of the top qualities that I see in you. You, Alliance students, have the strength to recognize who you are and how you show up differently than students who follow the traditional path. And as we've all seen in the past few months, that path is changing. Let's be real, that path is broken, but I know who's going to build a better one. I can think of no better people suited to blaze that new path than you. You are adaptable. You are resilient. You made the investment in yourselves and in your education because you left a path that wasn't working for you. I know it's not news to you that the old paths in our society are broken and that they need more than fixing, they need reimagining. And now the rest of the world is crying out for new paths and can look to you to lead, because you haven't been clinging to the old paths out of fear of change. You've already found the courage to step into the unknown and make a path that serves you better. I have hope because I believe you can teach the rest of the world to do that. The future will be created by those not only who think outside of the box, but by those who live outside of the box. Our normal has been cracked wide open and it's ready for recreation. It's ready for your minds and your skill sets to take over. Yes, the old path is broken. The world has been cracked wide open, and I'm proud to know the students who are going to be the ones to put it back together, better and stronger than before. And congratulations, Alliance of Benson, class of 2020. You did it.
Cause I graduated. I'm going way up, cause I waited in the lines and I'm a fine and I get in the time. You know I'm graduating and I updated, baby.
This is Guadalupe Guerrero, and as superintendent of the Portland Public Schools, I want to extend to the class of 2020 a hearty congratulations on your graduation. We are so proud of you, and you should be really proud of yourselves for reaching this important milestone, and also because we know it has taken a lot of hard work to get to this point. As an educator, I know that this moment is likely made possible because of a lot of individuals who have stood by you growing up and have been there to support you during your academic career. Graduations are a key moment for celebrating and reflecting on your successes and growths. You may be thinking about the long nights you may have spent completing an assignment or cramming for a test, or the countless hours working with your classmates preparing a science project or the high school musical. Or perhaps you're thinking about the time you spent on the field or on the court practicing for the big matches. Or maybe you're thinking about the homecoming dance you went to with your first crush, or the friends you've made over the years who have propped you up and provided a shoulder during those trying moments. You've each had a unique experience in arriving at this point. It is a celebration of all you've grown and the journey you've taken to get here. And for some of you, that journey has been a testament of your resilience and perseverance. I see you. Your teachers, aunties, abuelas, parents, cousins, mentors, coaches, friends, and others see you too. All of our graduates have shown resilience and adaptability as lifelong learners during this unprecedented health crisis. Given this pandemic, I want to acknowledge that you didn't have the senior year that you imagined. The PPS graduate portrait describes students prepared to lead change in the world. You've shown a commendable level of self-agency and leadership. Our community describes in our vision for the school system that we should aim to produce graduates that are inclusive, collaborative problem solvers, transformative racial equity leaders, influential global stewards, and optimistic, future-oriented graduates. The class of 2020 has demonstrated many of these traits. It's had more than just a pandemic to confront. You have used your voice, your advocacy, and leadership to speak out and act on a range of important issues of our time, both those local and global. You have advocated and marched, testified at board meetings, spoken truth to power, and insisted that we need to act now on preserving your future in your advocacy for climate justice. Climate change is real and we must do better. Portland showed up strong in the youth-led movement, and it's resulted in real changes for how we make sure that every student understands this important topic. And as our country and our city confronts its history and its institutionalized systems of oppression, once again, you have continued to march and speak out against bigotry and racism. You have understood that this is a time for reflection, learning, and action. You have been clear in your declarations that Black Lives Matter. Having witnessed your leadership, I am hopeful that we will live in a more socially just world. To prepare graduates to lead change and improve the world. That's our vision for our graduates, and I believe that what future Portlanders will read about in history books, it's just that you are the generation truly prepared to lead meaningful change and improve the world so that children and youth from all unique and diverse backgrounds have the equitable opportunity to thrive. So as you go on to the next leg of your journey, rely on what you've learned, both about the world around you and also what you've learned about yourself. Be true to your sense of self-agency and moral compass. Pursue your emerging passions and continue to cultivate your gifts and talents. We are so very proud of you. Congratulations, class of 2020.
Hello, fellow family, friends, teachers, and most importantly, the graduating class of 2020. My name is Ellen Frances Wolfcloud, and it's an absolute honor to speak to you on this momentous and monumental occasion. As a teenager, you don't often get the chance to have people meet you where you are. You often have to meet them where they are. At Alliance, they do something called walking in the middle path. To walk the middle path means replacing either or thinking with collaborative both and thinking. Too often, I feel like we make up our minds about how we feel about something using a black and white, all or nothing mindset. In these uncertain times, it's easy to ditch the positive and focus on the negative. We did lose a lot. We lost the end of our senior year, the year that was supposed to be one of our greatest. But through Alliance, and by using this mindset, I learned that not everything that happens to us is because of us. I mean, nobody predicted that instead of sitting in those incredibly uncomfortable folding chairs, we'd be sitting in front of computers trying to troubleshoot Zoom. And while it seems frivolous to feel sad or upset over graduation, it's okay. Your feelings are valid. We aren't going to have this very special event, a ceremony to celebrate the 4 years of testing, homework, projects, friendships, and community. And why not? History found us. We are the class of 2020. Our names will be written in history books for our children to read. The world we're about to enter is cracked and broken. Old divisions, old prejudices, old tensions flare alongside this pandemic. But we know that these fractures are neither the world's destiny nor its potential. Each of us will find a way to make something beautiful out of the different worlds we enter as we leave this shared one. Thank you all for embracing me into your community, even though it was only for a short time. I look forward to meeting you all again in the future when our paths cross. Paige, I thank you for always being my rock and sticking with me through the end. Drea, your endless compassion and kindness has molded me into the person I am today. And last, but certainly not least, Mom, you have always been the wind beneath my wings. Thank you.
Be proud of yourself. I wish I could give you a
Cause I graduated, I'm going way up, cause I waited in the lines and I'm a fine and I'm getting in time. You know I'm graduating and I'm updated, baby. Guadalupe.